your girl, Lady T. I am grateful. It's the season of thankfulness. I'm thankful and grateful for my viewers, for my panelists, and I'm grateful for these gems, this conversation that's being had tonight. We are talking about managing money as a millennial. I got two great guys on the panel. Instagram, you can't see them, but they great guys. You didn't see them before though. We have Justin of the JR Group and Get Your Money, Money Man Carlton. Okay, y'all can't see what he doing. He funny. He funny.
Right. Hey.
Hey guys, listen, we're gonna work on that. Okay, this is still humble beginnings right here. We gonna work on getting everybody the same view. But as of right now, if you do want to see everybody, go ahead to my Facebook page and you'll see both these gentlemen on there as well. So, Justin Carlton, how the heck are you? How
good, man.
That makes me talk. I always gotta check in. How are you?
I'm swell.
Good. I can't complain. Can't complain.
Listen, and the thing is, we could complain, but for
Right.
what?
No need to. No need to.
That part. So, like I said, we are talking about stacking your coins. We're talking about getting the bag and managing the bag. So I'm LadyyT, and we're gonna talk about it. Like tonight, I need us to be all up in the business because this is a topic that aside from relationship stuff, this is a topic that I struggle
needed. This is needed.
Get yourself together.
Yeah, me and Justin oftentimes have conversations about money management, money spending, and it's all up in my business. So I know it's going to be in somebody else's business, right?
Yeah.
So my first question, guys, what is your passion? Let's talk passion.
I'll go. Man, passion. My passion used to be playing the drums, which it still is, but more recently, from circumstances and situations that I have been in, it is financial literacy. Like finances, that's actually my passion. I'm actually still in school for business administration.
Okay.
So,
You just started going back to school?
Yeah, I started going back to school.
Education.
I started building out my business. I'm just gonna go ahead and give that senseless plug, Touch Productions.
Please.
So I started the business, and that's what made me see that okay, I got to go back to school just for the knowledge of it all. And in that, I started, with I guess me being unorganized with my money. That's where the passion to really look at these finances a little bit better, a little bit more with a third eye. So the passion is financial literacy to me.
Yeah. It's the financial literacy for me. Oh, show. Justin, what are you passionate about?
I would say my passion is just making things happen for people. Like whatever your dream is, whatever my dream is, just making it happen. Like being that person to just do it, to produce whatever it is. So like, I think recently, like I've decided I'm gonna have the title producer as I get older because I just want to be like making stuff.
You better know your title.
Like I don't play an instrument, but like love me some music. So that's like my side passion, if you want to call it that.
Okay, so you giving yourself titles, right?
Hey, nobody else is, so I'm gonna give it to myself.
Period.
There you go.
I know that's one thing that me and 50, and for those who know, 50's my mother, but that's one thing we talk about all the time is walking in the title, walking in what you want and not where you're at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Carlton's talking about financial literacy. My guy gonna be teaching panels, and he gonna be on big places talking about finance.
Speak that.
You hear that?
Speak that.
Hello?
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that
you gonna be black rich dad, poor dad. Come on now.
so everything that I want, like I call myself a creative director. Like I want to direct films and produce like creative things. However, I haven't had the chance to like get on that big stage yet. But to put yourself in that arena where like, okay, I'm not there yet, but I see it. I see it in myself first before they see it, and you gotta see it in yourself before anybody else does. So.
Yeah, ain't nobody else gonna see it. So we just talked about businesses, right? So I have Idea Creations, which is a full-on business doing all kind of things. Like it wasn't until recently where I sat down and I was like, all right, sat down with my team and I was like, all right, what are we doing? What do I do? To be able to articulate that to somebody else. And I got a talk show. I'm editing videos. I'm doing content creation for people. We're talking about building your social media and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, all right, so I got that. You got Perfume Chick, right? You got like multiple things. I'm like, Tam, what is you doing? But in reality, like I'm getting the money. You know what I mean? So how many streams of income do you have? Like what's a good number to have?
Good Lord, endless. But I mean,
as many as possible.
As many as possible. But I mean, ideally, I mean, you at least want to get it at 3. I mean, because of course we're all, if you haven't hit that entrepreneur level where you just solely working by yourself, everybody has that 9-to-5 job that is keeping them alive. But what is the other stuff like? I know for
somebody said it to me before, and it really put it in perspective for me because I'm somebody like I love my job. I'm gonna keep it at that. Love my job. Love my job, but have a passion. You know what I mean? Love my job, but I don't see me there forever. And I don't want to hustle forever. You know what I mean? Like that gets tiring. Hustling gets tiring. I want that financial literacy. You know what I mean? I want to be able to make money in the background. I want to be able to set myself up to have things running. And somebody in my close circle once told me, they were like, your 9-to-5 is just your 9-to-5. I'm sorry, somebody was calling. Your 9-to-5 is just financing your dreams. And I was like, you know what? You're right. That gave me a different push and hustle for that. You know what I mean? So that 9-to-5 is a must, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then somebody says researchers have been pinpointing a statistic. Millionaires on average have not just 1, but 7 streams of income.
Sounds about right.
7 streams of income.
Yeah, I would say for me, honestly, I'm looking to have as many streams as I have children and people in my house. So like make sure that like everything is being taken care of by something. Like I got my stream that's taking care of me, my wife, I got something that's taking care of her, my one child, maybe 2. So maybe 2 more streams.
You gotta have 2 kids. You gotta have 2.
No, 2 kids is expensive. No.
You're just gonna have the one child, the only child, just running around, not having nobody to play with.
I'm the only child.
I'm on 2 separate spectrums of that only child.
Because I'm the one who's talking about something. Oh yeah, give me a small family. She wants 17 kids. I don't understand.
Good Lord.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we're actually going to pause this conversation real quick. IG, we're gonna be back. Hold that thought. We're gonna be right back. We got technical difficulties. For my Facebook people who didn't see none of that, you guys missed a couple gems dropped. I'm LadyT. We gotta talk about money management as millennials. Dropping jewels and gems today, talking about how to get the money, how to manage the money. I got 2 great panelists right now, Justin of JR Group and Carlton. Carlton, I don't only want to knit you to get your money, man. Like, what do you want to? What is your title? What do you want your title to be?
What for? What I am, or
just what you are, what you're doing? Like,
man, it says in my Instagram bio, I'm a multifaceted entertainer. So like, but plugging it into getting your money, started it on Instagram, trying to grow it now on YouTube. That's been a struggle. Consistency is one of them things for me. But going strong, found a passion in editing videos and just making content that is funny, but also something relatable that has to do with our wallets. So, I mean, we plugging in different financial ways that we can get that money, keep that money, grow that money. I mean, we just, yeah, we doing it all. So,
okay. So
y'all be out on the lookout for that on YouTube.
Tell us a little bit about the Get Your Money, okay? Because I remember first I was scrolling, I was like, bro, what are these funny videos? What is Carlton doing? And then I was like, wait a minute, let me watch this with the sound on. And that's the thing. I get to scrolling.
But you don't watch anything with the sound.
I get entertained without the sound. And then if it's entertaining, then I'm going to, turn the sound on. I'm going to tap it.
Right.
But I tapped it. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, you're right. And it was just that voice in your head a little bit, that voice on social media to say, all right, Tan, you ain't doing enough. He right. Get your money. I think everybody needs that reminder. How did that start off?
Man, I was in my car at the time. I had me I was flexing on them, had the Camaro all stupid money decision, basically. Okay. Why do I have a $20,000 car and I got debt, or, my finances are not in order? So as I was like reading up on, okay, how can I get out of debt? How can I pay my credit card down? How, like, do I really need this car that I have? Like, where can my finances go? Like, just traveling on the highway one day, I heard, what's the song called? I just heard the old song, I think it's by the OJs, money, 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 money. And I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, it just different random things like savings started coming to me, investing started coming to me, budgeting. I was like, I haven't seen anyone on Instagram or Facebook that I know teaching about financial literacy in a skit form, in a form where it's like, let's make this funny the same way influencers do with just regular skits about different memes and stuff, or different things going on in the world. So it was kind of like I was preaching to myself in a way, because these videos that I ended up doing, by the end of the video, I would be like, Carlton, you said something profound right there. Like, put that into practice right now. Like that, like, actually Get Your Money, man, was one of the reasons why I ended up selling my car, and now I have a busted old Nissan Versa. However, that Nissan Versa, $2,000 left on the payment. It's running smoothly. My investments is popping off. I'm putting more money into my business, so I got more money to do anything, do more things. And it's just like an educational experience with, like, I'm making moves more now than when I had the bad financial decisions that I made then. So yeah, like, I be preaching to myself when I'm talking about Get Your Money, man. So
okay,
that's how it is.
And that's crazy that you said that. So you say you made a dumb financial decision by having this paid car, or this expensive car with debt, with whatever it is. You end up selling the car, and then started investing and stuff like that. Like, how did that feel? Because I think it feels weird, and I don't know if it's because of. I do know it's because of social media. It's because we're busy watching everybody else in everybody else's lane, and nobody thinks to downsize in order to upsize. You know what I mean? Like that whole saying, "I'm gonna struggle now so that I can be set later." I don't feel like we think far enough into later. You feel me?
Right. That's yeah.
How did it feel downsizing?
It did not at first. It didn't feel good because of social media. Like, it was, I don't know. Like, so this is the thing. Like, when you have this bright orange car cruising down the street everywhere, and you're getting these looks and stares, and people are always saying they want to drive in your car and all, like, I went from that to, like, who is this pulling up in this little golf cart? Like, ain't nobody staring at me, ain't nobody looking at me. Like it took some time to get used to, but when I started seeing the results of sitting down, studying about the stock market, studying about different apps where we could put our money in, and it would grow over time more than what we do when we put our money in banks. I started to see the results of the labor, and it was just like, you know what? More people have to know about this. Like, people have to understand this, because honestly, and I told this story once before. I got put on to the stock market by just like a Breakfast Club interview with, I think it was Charlamagne the God and Snoop Dogg at the time. And he was just talking about investing in a new company that was coming out. And I took a chance on it and did the same thing. I think I started with like some change, and then it started into dollars. And so for anybody that thinks you got to invest a large sum of money, not at all. Invest that 50 cent every week, every day. That stuff piles up. I started investing more, and over the course of the time, I made $10,000 in the stock market.
Yeah.
And it like, yeah, I mean, that feeling of having money, and I was able to pay my debt down tremendously because of the investment. Those are the things where it's like, nah, I don't need the car right now. We don't need the Birkin bag with the Vans on. Like that mean we don't need that right now.
That makes you look great. That's what I told you. I said this in the beginning. I said this topic here is about to get so far in my business. Like, it's ridiculous. You feel me? So everybody on Instagram and Facebook, you guys are, well, Facebook more so Instagram. Instagram, y'all usually too far for me to see, but you close now. We good money. I always do a comment check, and I have a comment check from Amina, who said, "Where did you start to do your research on what to do with your money?" And then she said $10,000. That's awesome. Like,
yeah.
Where did you start? Like, that starting point is hard.
You know what? It is, but it's not. And so I'll tell you this: like when we think about our parents, how they grew up, like I can't imagine having to take a full size map with me and try to go where I'm going when we got GPS. Like, Dad, you really was out here just like, okay, I got to make a turn here and then 5 miles here. Nah, bro, I'm not. I'm staying in the house. Staying in the house. I'm not going nowhere. But now we have.
We did used to have.
Yeah, we used to. They used to have to write down everything.
Tell me where to go. Remember MapQuest?
Yeah, man, all that stuff. But it's like now we have technology, and so it leaves us without excuse. And so YouTube is your best friend. That's exactly where I started. I started at YouTube. It was just as simple as investing for beginners. And so I went from there. You get a little bit of knowledge from that, and you fact check it with Google. What did he say with Google? He said balance sheets? What's a balance sheet? Type in balance sheet. And so I mean, you got to do your due diligence. It takes some work. And I'm even go on to say this. I'm not the guru at investing. Like, there is so much that I don't know, to the point where I said, okay, let me take my money out and learn this stuff, because there was a point where, matter of fact, I think a little bit before COVID started, the market started crashing, and I lost a tremendous amount of money as well. And so it was like, I don't know enough yet to keep my money in here and just feel comfortable with it in there. So I took it out, and it's just sitting in the savings, but I'm doing my research. Like I'm making sure that I learn what are these charts for, what are these strategies for charts. But all that came from YouTube. There's books that cost on Amazon, but you can listen to the audio books for free on YouTube. And so that's just like a podcast, honestly.
Yeah.
And the books are giving so much knowledge. Like, I found out about being able to get tax breaks on corporations through, I think it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But it's like people are not really giving that type of information away on the internet. And so it's like you really kind of got to read a book sometimes or listen to a book to get that information that people are not giving out so freely.
For
So I
sure.
mean, but yeah, that's what it is.
Everybody's trying to secure their coins. And that's a big coin to secure right now is your information, your knowledge, your delivery, and things of that nature. Like everybody got a seminar, everybody got a book that they giving out. On Instagram, Neek Good _30 said, so what was your motivation and drive? That's big.
Honest moment. My motivation and drive was I don't want to be in mommy and daddy's house for too much longer.
Okay.
Like, and I know, and my mom tells me this all the time. Like, I want you to get something you can own. She's always plugged to me. You stay here as long as you need because I don't want you to rent like me. I want you to get something that you can own. But again, we look at social media as in, now I gotta get out now. Why? Because this person has that and this person has this. And again, it's a mind game. But
say that. Can you say that one more time? Like
what part? With that social media is just a mind game?
Listen, because it's so crazy that, and I love LadyT. Let's talk about this for this reason, right? So before pandemic, we're sitting around, we're talking, we're nodding and all that kind of stuff. And that's a conversation that me and my mother recently had was, as much as it costs in the DMV area to rent, you can basically buy, you know what I mean? And it wasn't till that point, I was like, all right, you're right. And I tell some of my mentees all the time, like who just turned 18, who of course want their freedom, who of course want to be able to do whatever they want to do and all this other kind of stuff. Don't be pressed to struggle. Like at 26, I'm in my mother's house, but I got a business. I am saving, not as well as I should be, but I see nothing in the face. Not as well as I should be, but you're able to. There we go. Able to save money, able to build that foundation. I think that's one thing. I think it might be culturally, to be honest. Like, as an African American culture, we're like, oh, all right, 18, I'm out. I'm trying to be free. I'm trying to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, without you being in my business. Whereas other cultures are like a couple different things, but they turn 18, their parents had a trust fund for them or had a savings. They were prepared for children. You know what I mean? Like, they're not out buying Jordans and stuff like that. They're putting money. They're giving them stock for birthday presents. And I was like, yo, we not doing that. Like, we got to get ahead. You know what I mean? And
that's fact.
In your parents' house until you're financially literate to be able to say, all right, I have this house. I know it's an investment. I'm the landlord. Like, you know what I mean? It's up and rent the house out because now you're the landlord. How much money do I need for stuff that goes wrong? And that takes me to Justin. Justin, how, you're 27, you got your own, you know what I mean? What was your motivation to getting your own and keeping your own? Because that's one thing I talked to my mom about. I'm like, I want to do it while you're here. If anything goes wrong, I'm coming home.
I think the big thing for me was like my parents told me the same thing as Carlton's. Like, we want you to get something that you can own. So went to school. When I got finished, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get this apartment. I gotta move out because culturally I was like, well, when you're 18, like you gotta be gone. So after I'm done with college, like I guess I gotta go somewhere. And then my parents, like my dad was like, I was kind of joking all those years, right? Like you don't have to leave. So then I was like, oh, okay. But I feel like I should leave because like my thing is at the time I had a salary job. I was making, well, it was good money. I don't think so, but that's another discussion. Making pretty good money at that time. To be 22, I think, when I graduated. To be 22. And my parents were like, why don't you stay here for a year? You save your money, you do whatever. And then at the end of the year, you get your house. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to get a house. Like, I'm too young to have a house. And they were like, what does that mean? And I was like, you don't get a house till you're like 40. Like, don't you have to be married to have a house or like have some kids or a dog? Like these weird like age stipulations and stuff. So long story short, stayed there for a year. And then my cousin, who actually is a realtor, like started talking to me about it because I was impatient. Like I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take this money I got and I'm just gonna go rent somewhere. Like I'm tired of commuting, I'm tired of doing this. And then like she sat down and really broke down to me like everything a house really awards you and allots you. So, you don't have to worry about being evicted ever. Like, as long as you're paying your bills, like, and the thing with that is, not encouraging this, but if you get behind on your mortgage, they have mortgage repayment programs. Like, ever since the stock market crash in 2009, the banks want you to keep your house, because they don't want to sit there and have all these wasted properties out here that they're just paying for and no one's paying for. So there are mortgage repayment programs out there. There are, it takes like 3 months to even start the foreclosure program. Like in an apartment, you miss that rent 1 month, like you're done. Like you don't really have time to recover. But in a house, you get a little more leeway. You get a tax break. Like that was my biggest thing. Cause for me, I was like, somebody give me some money. So when they were like, oh, if you get a house, you can qualify to get money back on your taxes and your income tax. That sounds amazing to me. Like, show me where the money is. And when I found out we're renting, you don't qualify for that tax credit. I was like, why would I not want to get all the money back as possible? And then like Carlton was saying, like, if I got tired of this house or I fell on hard times, I'm the landlord. Like I can move somebody in if I need to pay the rent. I can move out myself and then rent my place out. I can do whatever I want to do. You got all that freedom. Like for me, and Tan's probably gonna laugh at this, I had Airbnb. Like I literally bought my house I moved in at the end of October, and by December 1st of that year, I was renting for Airbnb. And I was at my parents' house or like friend's house or whatever, pretty much 3 weeks out of the month. But I was like, you know what? I'm getting this Airbnb money. So basically, I'm paying a mortgage, but they're really paying my mortgage. So I'm getting all of this money and getting a tax credit. And like, you don't get to have that freedom in a lot of apartment complexes because they'll look at you and say, you can't be letting like strangers in here. You can't rent to Airbnb. You can't do this. So for me, it was just like, there's a level of freedom that actually comes with home ownership. And it's almost sad that in the Black culture, like people are almost anti-house like ownership. They're like, man, that holds you down. You can't do anything with that. Like if something breaks, you gotta fix it. Well, that's what you save for. Like that's why you have a job. That's why you have disposable income, So
and I think that's, as we talked earlier before the break, having that 7 streams of income, you know what I mean? You get 1 stream of income, that could probably pay for that part. And then you're able to live your best life. And I think, because I know Neat Good _30 said on Instagram, he was like, social media is a fantasy. Like if you think about it, people put up their very best. You know what I mean? Nobody right now wants you in their business. Nobody wants you to see them on the down. You know what I mean? So it's just, we gonna get the biggest and the baddest so we can flex the hardest. You feel like, and then sometimes I know you have to sit back and think like, all right, do I really want this or do I want this for this reason? Why do I want this? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because for me, I got a car this year during the pandemic. Hello?
Shorty, you got a car during the pandemic. Okay, that's a new type of flex.
Shorty paying a car note, but that's big for me. Like, I get a car so I could flex. My other car is, and I got 2 cars right now. Like,
okay.
I mean, but it's a slight flex. But the reason I emphasize that part is just getting to the point where at first I was like, oh, I want a new car. I'm tired of having paid off cars that are older than me and stuff like that, and shuffling through every 2-3 years because of whatever happens. But one thing, and I talked to Justin because he's in my immediate circle, talked to him and he was like, it's really just another car. Like, it's really just another payment. Like, if you can pay your student loans, you can pay the water bill, the this and that bill, it's just another payment. I was like, all right, change the way I thought about that. You know what I mean? And now it feels good to be able to pay your bills. Like at 26, like, bruh, I could pay my bills, But one thing I thought about that was the difference between my Mazda and I had two dream cars, and the Mercedes that I was crying about, the Tesla I couldn't even talk about. Like humble beginnings for sure, and that really humbled me in the sense of, all right, Tan, what do you really want to do? And I'm really big on traveling, so having to prioritize some of that stuff in how I spend my money, how I save my money. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to have this car, pay for this car, still travel, and save for now my 2 to 3 year goal of buying a house and stuff like that. Like you're able to do that because you have to scale back your mind sometimes. Do you think that we chase some things just for the flex of it?
Man, yes. That's why, Matt, let me tell you, if it wasn't for my mom and my father, so my first car that I actually did the whole car note was a Camaro, and I flexed it out and everything. But the car that I was set on getting was a Camaro, like, or not a Camaro. I'm sorry, not a Camaro. Why I say a Camaro? A Corvette. That's what it was. It was a Corvette.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here like, okay, so I found a used Corvette. It's about like $36,000. Not even realizing the engine, the tires. I think cost like $200 a piece.
It's not pretty.
If it was not for my parents telling me that is not smart, like that's just no, you shouldn't do that. I mean, we ain't gonna stop you, but you really shouldn't do that. And like something in my head was just like, don't be stupid. You really shouldn't do that. Yeah. And I still ended up messing up with just getting a Camaro because that was for a flex too. This is all a flex.
We chase the flex because I know I have a lot of conversations with my friends. To be honest, more so guys than the girls, but you know they want to get rich so that they could buy this fat house or they could buy this flex car or whatever the case may be. And I feel like we be chasing the flex because my thing is, as I think about it now, like I want a house that's spacious enough for me. You know what I mean? Until I get a family, and then of course enough space so we ain't cramping on each other. But after think about it, I don't want a mansion. Like I don't want this huge house that like why do I care that my mother has a whole west wing in the house? Like she got her own house. She gonna have her own house.
She need her space. She need her space. 50 need a wing.
Her space, but she'll have her own place. Like I'm gonna have a walkway. And then it's gonna go to.
Stop talking about this tiny house you're gonna put your mom in the backyard. Stop it.
Come on now.
I think one of the biggest things is like we gotta change our mindsets and our language too. Like even like not to pick on you, but like you were talking about like downsizing and scaling back. Like we use negative words for a lot of things that really are not negative. Like there's a Tesla, there's a Mazda. You have a brand new Mazda that drives just like a Tesla. Like at the end of the day, they're both cars. They both get you to where you need to go.
That is true.
They both shield you from the elements. They both have air conditioning. Like
didn't I tell you that conversation was about to be in my business, and I don't like that. Like
I mean, that's what like social media does. That's what we as a generation do. Like we tell people like, oh, like you only have a 2-bedroom house. Like, what are you doing with yourself? If it's one of you, do you really need all that space? Like,
not at all.
What do you need to get the Tesla for? Like, they built those cars and they priced them that way so that they can make a whole lot of money for a car. Well, Tesla's a little different because it's an electric car. But that Mercedes that runs on gas, just like your Mazda, like you're paying for a name. You're paying, like, that's all it is. And at the end of the day, you need practical, a car that gets you from point A to point B. Not saying that you shouldn't get what you want.
Exactly how Justin comes for me in our day-to-day lives. Get you a best friend that makes you think about stuff like that.
There you go. Yeah.
As he's saying it, Carlton, I'm like, okay, yeah.
And if you can, my thing is, if you can afford it, especially if you afford it in cash or mostly in cash, just get it. There's no reason not to have nice things.
There is a reason not. I mean, because as you say that, you're right. It protects you from the elements. It gets you to point A to point B in the DMV. And we were talking about that I'm still get a Tesla. Like, love the electric car, love the technology inside, the simplicity, all of that kind of stuff. But you really did just talk me out of the Mercedes.
Good job.
Queen car. As you're talking about that, we just talked earlier when I was looking at the different models of the Tesla. So, the knowledge behind it, as Carlton was talking about earlier. But as I'm looking at the different models, I'm like, why do I care if it goes from 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds? In the DMV, where I'm going that fast? The police gonna catch me before
all them DC cameras out there, you bound to get a rack of $500.
That's what I'm saying. But I did put my car in sport mode when I was going to Manassas. That was fun. But however, we're nowhere to be driving that freaking fast. Like, where am I flexing that speed? So I was like, get the base model Tesla. We get money there. And then I can customize it. Because I know one of my friends that I went to college with, she just got a Tesla. And shout out to her. If she's watching, you know who you are. I'm loving it. But it was just like, she saved and she told her parents she wanted to do it herself. And it's like, that's how we should be. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it's keeping those gems, those jewels in mind, that why do I need a car that goes this fast, this quick? Why do I need a house that big? Because my thing is, as I'm in my mama's business more often now than I used to be, in the sense of we talk, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that not a lot of people have done before. Like, how many parents are really letting you in their business, the good and the bad? You know what I mean? Right. And, to my mom, talking to her about mortgage and how that works, and the fact that you can refinance and how that works, and, things to that nature. And we're talking. Why do I need a big house that I'm probably going to pay somebody to clean? One, that's not being, like, is that really being a good steward over your own? You know what I mean? Yes, that's somebody else's coins, but I'm paying somebody else to clean what I wanted, what I had. Right. You know what I mean? And then that's another bill. Like, that's more outgoing money. So let me give me a house that me and my kids can clean. And my husband. Homeboy better get to cleaning as well. So that leads into my next question, talking about husband, wife, stuff like that. How do you guys think money should work in a relationship? Like, I'm the female perspective, but for the male perspective, how do you think? Because I know we talk often. I know in church about being evenly yoked, and that's a thing. And how do y'all think that should go?
For me, I definitely think all your finances need to be open with one another. Like, there's no reason for there to be any secrets. With that being said, I think there should be like a joint account that takes care of your household bills, the kids, your everyday stuff, groceries and all of that. But I also think it's important to kind of have your own one, because, and this might be a me thing, I don't think it makes sense that if you got a full joint account, if you're saying like, oh babe, I bought you something, no, we bought me something, like that doesn't make sense to me. And like, to me, I want to be able to like spoil you, but you not know what's coming out. Because my thing is like, if we go out to dinner, this like nice dinner, we go on this trip, you're gonna be like, we spent how much? No, don't worry about it. I spent it. Still we, but like you don't see it. So my thing is, I think you should have a personal account that they know about and they still have access to. Because again, there should be no secrets. There should be nothing hidden. But I think you really gotta like talk about how you work on your money and your finances together. Because I was in a long-term relationship, and we started talking about finances and whatnot, like how we would do it. And that was one of the few things we agreed upon of doing it that way. But just even talking about like what bills you bring in from outside the relationship and like where those would go. So she had like a lot of loans. I did not. So like, who's going to pay for that? How are we going to pay for those? You know, what do you think we should spend on this and that kind of stuff? And I think somebody that Tangela and I both know really well, he said that like in their house they can make like whatever purchases they want, but anything over like $75 requires like, hey, do you mind if I like go buy this sound bar or something like that? Like, do you care about that? And I think, well, for me, I'm gonna say 75. I said like a 150 maybe, but like that's if they have a full on joint account. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Okay.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way with communication. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing in a relationship, just point period. But financially, yeah, because you taking on, and that's one thing that I had with one of the girlfriends that I had in the past was like looking at her from a marriage standpoint. It was like, whoa, no, you
Wait,
really
say that
got a
one more
lot of
time.
debt. I said looking at the woman from the marriage the marriage standpoint.
I mean, when you start to have these kind of conversations, that's a thing. You know what I mean? Like in relationships, especially at
You
this
gotta talk.
age, when you're looking at somebody from a marriage standpoint, that changes your conversations. It changes your thinking. You know, if you just with a girlfriend, you're like, okay, she's spending money the way she do, or she got this amount of debt, or she do whatever she do, compared to like, all right, wifey, let's look at you from this wifey perspective. How does this affect me? How do I feel about this? So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Establishing the
Nah, but
habit.
that's exactly what it is. You looking at them habits, you looking at them situations, like on some real mental, spiritual level with me, because I am in a place where it's like I'm past, I guess we call it the host stage. I'm past that stage. Like I really
We
want to be with one.
on a relationship talk because we got them.
I'm past that stage. I'm really on like some God, I'm ready. And he's like, no, you're not, but I'm gonna get you ready because I know what you want. And so it's more so a thing of I can see him getting my finances on a level, and as well as who he's bringing me getting theirs on a level, because I know when I had to talk with a previous girlfriend, it was like, I don't know if I want to deal with the debt that you have, because I see that you were like, you made some bad decisions with your money, and you don't really look like you're trying to get away from the decision, from those bad decisions that you make. Like, you're still making bad decisions with your money. And you know, when you're in a relationship, you want to talk to somebody about that, but you don't want to be in their business saying, why do you do this with your money, and why do you keep doing that with your money, when again y'all are just girlfriend and boyfriend. So those conversations are tough to have, but you got to have them when you're looking at it from a standpoint of marriage. So
yeah, and I think
as soon as y'all start talking about like, you know, you're the one, or like, I think that we, you know, you start having those marriage minded conversations. I think it's okay to start having the finance conversations, because you talk about everything else. And people always say like, between raising kids and your money, those are the two biggest contenders that contribute to divorce. So my thing is like, why not get ahead of the game and start early while you still dating? Like, all right, now we're really considering each other, we're really pursuing each other. Why do you think it's okay to spend this inordinate amount of money? Or like, what was your thought process? Or, you know, because you know, you never know who people are. They could be recovering.
I definitely think it could be balanced. I definitely think it could be balanced. Even you know, with a friendship like me and Justin, if for those who do know us, Justin tight on a penny and I'm kind of loose on it. But and however, everything gets paid. So I'll say that. I'll put that out there. But it's a balance of like, all right, Justin, you can afford to spend a little bit more on this, or you don't need this Mercedes. Like that. It can, I definitely think it could be a balance. But one thing both of you said that I think is a major key is one, being in at the age, the space to know, like, all right, I'm thinking marriage, or I'm thinking long term when talking with somebody. Like that changes, that matures your conversations with each other. You know what I mean? We not just talking about like, oh, what do you think we should name our kids, or da 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 da. We're talking about like, all right, how do you feel about, like, what kind of house do you want? Like, where do you want to move your, like, you're thinking about stronger things. Like, all right, if we got a kid and that kid lies about something, how are you going to go about this? Like, you alter your conversations because of the space you're in, the mindset you're in. And Carlton, I think you said something big, like, all right, God, I'm ready for somebody. No, you're not. I'm gonna get you ready though. Like, thinking about Michael Todd's his theory about living in singleness and the growth. It's not just about, all right, let me grow into being somebody's wife. Let me grow into, this bomb boss, or let me grow myself. It's growing yourself financially as well. Like, let me get my financial literacy together so that I can be, for the guys, that I can be the head of this household and make it work. So real quick, we got comment chats, because the comments is it. Like this, y'all must really be in people's business.
That's lit.
Instagram, we lit right here. Facebook, we lit. Sweeter Romantic said 50-50. She think the situation should be 50-50 in money. Essence of Ash says Black don't talk about it, so we think that is the best option. That's true. She also said it's hard to change what we've been conditioned to think. And other people just talking about dropping jewels, dropping gems and stuff. Cedric Blossom said, or underscore Cedric Blossom said, breaking a bag for a brand. That's facts. You thinking somebody else a millionaire. And before I say something, I'm probably setting Blue Ivy up for, because I'm telling you, I got drop 1, 2, and 2.2. But however, how can I make that work for me? So we're gonna do a YouTube video because I gotta make this work. And the Facebook comments, we got the Lockharts. Okay, they're an amazing marriage couple. Shayna says 1 house, 1 pot. And then the question was, how do you each buy each other gifts? And she says, absolutely. We just tell each other, don't look at the account, or we budget for a certain amount. Jocelyn says separate accounts can quickly spiral into trust issues all over the place. And I think it's a matter of communication as well. Because I mean, that is true. Like, if you think back to Why Did I Get Married To? I don't know if you guys have seen that one. But when they were going through the divorce, and I don't know why.
Colorado in that one? Which one was that? He was dying. That's
the one he got in a car accident.
Yeah.
Gavin, when they were going through the divorce, he found that she had her own separate account, but she had her own business. So she had money set aside, and that was a fighting thing during divorce, was I should get half of everything, including that, because I put that time, that effort, that help into it and stuff like that. So that's hard. I think that is hard. And I think it comes with not only the maturity, but the communication that Carlton was talking about, to say, like, for me, Idea Creations may have some money on the side, but that's not me. That's business money. And that does get hard on the different accounts and things of that nature. Like,
and I think for me, like, I'd want, like, you know how, well, at least for me, from my banking app, when you log in, you see like a listing of all your accounts. Like, I would want to see like our money, like the house money, and then my account and her account. So like, there is no real trust issue. Because I agree, like, if you got money to the side somewhere and they can't see it, you'd be thinking like, okay, what are they really doing?
And what are they planning to do? A lot of people, they put money on the side so they could skedaddle. Like, I wish I made some money so they could skedaddle with no home. What? Right. I can't say home? I'm sorry.
Right. But I mean, on one end, I'm like, okay, a joint account and the personal account, but what's wrong with letting them know what's in the personal account? Like, you like that communication as well, where it's like, okay, again, if we're an open book, we know what we have in a joint account. And I guess it'll be, like, in my business, you and my business wife, or you and my business husband, if you looking at my account. But again, just to show,
doesn't that marriage, don't that open up your business? Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's like, there should be no hiding from that. And when you are hiding that personal account, that's when it gets sticky. Like, what are you hiding? But you should be able to have a joint account and a personal, but still be able to show them, hey, this is in my personal account.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. So you talk about the personal, the joint accounts. Like we've talked about kind of living beyond your means, living in your means and stuff like that. Let's talk budgeting. Like at this age, what does the budgeting look like? Because I know I could do better. And I know I could do a lot better actually.
That's like the theme of this talk for you. I can do better. Okay.
Listen, and
You're not alone.
I told Justin today, probably 2 days ago, and the day before that, I was like, I need to recalibrate my life. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, and I don't feel like I'm setting myself up enough. You know what I mean? But
Sis.
But that's the first part about it, especially in our age group as millennials, is calling yourself on your own mess. I don't want to get to a point where I'm losing a car, a house, a marriage to finally catch myself and say, all right, Tan, you're doing a little bit much. You know what I mean? But I think, I knew beforehand that I needed a budget, right? And I'm so happy to have a best friend that is so great with money. And you talk about being in the business. This man is in all of my business, literally.
Hey, as he should.
All of the pieces of my business. But the crazy thing is it was when we first became friends and I knew he was good with money and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, a budget. And I was like, what's that? I've been broke all my life. Like, what's the difference? I'm good. Like, that's the mindset I was in. But as we started talking about this budget, I was then able to, in 1 year, go to St. Croix, to Miami, to Orlando, to New Orleans, and something else, and then still have money saved up and still not be struggling when I got back. And I was like, okay, this budget thing kind of cute. Until we have a conversation in IHOP where he was like, you can't do that. If you want to do this, you can't do that. And when I tell you, Carlton, I broke down crying. I had an anxiety attack. Me and Justin didn't talk for a week and a half, and that's big.
Oh man.
I was like, so I can't live. What can I do other than live? And I'm like, you're living. But my chest got heavy and I was like, bro, I can't do nothing. But I think it's because I was trying to live so far out of a budget, so far out of my means, so far into somebody else's lifestyle. Like, run your own race. Like, Justin got a house. 10 ain't ready for no house yet. LadyT, you ain't on house. You ain't house ready yet. You need a big girl to get this little house.
Right.
Or another stream of income. So what about budgeting for you guys? I feel like men are a little bit more, maybe not. And I don't know that for sure. But how do you guys about a budget?
Nah, I think it's a mindset because I don't.
It's definitely a mindset because I know, what am I? I'm 29 now, but when I was 26, that budget was, where the party at, where the drinks at. That's where the money went.
Hello.
It wasn't no looking at the bills, and it was kind of like, as long as I had money in the account, I'm good. Like, if the money's in the account, I'm good. I'm still spending. I get paid next Friday, so you're always looking at a paycheck. And so it's kind of like I had the mindset of living paycheck to paycheck before getting to that point of living paycheck to paycheck. But right now, again, my budgets is all in apps. Like it is so easy to be organized. What's the app? I shouldn't give it to them because they need to pay me for these plugs. Like, we giving all this.
Just one time, humble beginnings. Let it happen.
I got you. No, Mint. It's an app called Mint. I don't know if y'all heard about it. Huh? Yeah. Okay. MINT. It allows you. I have like 3 different bank accounts, so it takes all those accounts, puts it in one. It takes all your debt, consolidates that into one, and it's like, it's really keeping you accountable. It's giving you notifications. Hey, you're at your monthly spending limit for this. Like, you can set all that stuff. It actually, to the point, I think I turned it off at some points because it's like, this budget app is telling the truth too much. Like, and so like I don't like this budget app in my business. Exactly. That, like, tap out, don't tap in. Like, it was too much.
Listen, make you want to log out, huh?
But again, it showed me because I am terrible, and these are one of the things that I'm trying to work on as I grow my business is being organized. I am terrible at being organized.
Yeah.
And so with being organized, with making sure your bills are on time, like there's no reason why you're not setting reminders of this bill is due, I got to pay this. And then on top of that, seeing, hey, am I able to get all my debt into one? Like consolidating your debt is one of the biggest things that you can do, where you just put your debt in a big lump sum and you pay that whole thing. You'll look to see that you can get a lower interest rate if you do it that way, opposed to paying all your debt separately.
And I got a question for you, Carlton, because it's one of the Get Your Money Mans that I watched. How do you feel about having debt and saving? How they work together?
They don't. I was having this conversation with my sister. As long as you have debt, you don't have a savings, because at some point in time, like that debt's gonna have to be paid off. And so that's kind of where people get in debt for the rest of their life, because they're just like, I have money in my savings, and they're always looking to get to a point where they could make more money in their savings than in their debt. But with your interest, that becomes hard, that becomes difficult. And then let's say an emergency happens where you need your credit card again, or your car no longer works and you need a new one. They piling on the old car debt to the new car debt. And it's just like, it's a rat race to get out of that debt, when in reality, if you're able to get enough money and pay the lump sum down, or you know what, it's kind of actually really hard to say, because I'll say this, my investment was one of the reasons why I was able to pay my debt down. So it's a give and take. What's your situation? What's your scenario in your circumstances? I know my sister, and I'm putting out her business, but I don't care, because she needs to do better. But
in everybody's business.
Exactly. My sister, I had the same problem where I misused a credit card, and I racked up some debt. And I told her about it, and I like plugged it into her head. You only use that for emergencies, because you got a good savings right now. You don't want to get in that play. But again, she being young, 22, 21, she racks up $12,000 worth of debt on her credit card.
But it's so easy.
Yes,
that's the problem.
I think especially for our age group, it's so easy to sign up for, whether it's, and like I said, whether it's the Beyonce line, whether it's unbudgeted money, because essentially that's what credit cards are, is unbudgeted money. Like, it's money you got, but you really don't have it.
Yeah, like, it ain't yours.
Money to pay it off right away. And it's a slippery slope. And I know, we talked about me just coming back from St. Croix, that traveling conversation we had. And I was talking to and she was younger, but real smart, the fact that we were actually even talking about it. And she asked, did I raise my limit on one of my credit cards? I was like, girl, I don't need no more raise. More money means more money to pay off. And I done already, like, in my little life of having a credit card, like, I'm telling you, I done went like this to my credit card limit. I done touched it.
Same.
And I said, how can I pay this off? Because I'm trying to buy a car. How can I pay this off? My credit score ain't looking like I wanted to look. I done seen the possibilities. And that was like, then that's another rat race that you on. Or, come January, shorty student loans about to kick back in. I ain't going to have money to do this. And I can't do that and stuff like that. So that credit card is a slippery slope.
Yeah, man.
I got one.
Really, I'm like, really is.
Use it for business purchases. When I tell you, I'd be like,
that's how I got in debt.
A business purchase to her. I was like, really? That was a business purchase?
So when I was doing like the side hustle things, when you're trying to get you're trying to get the 7 streams of income, one of my worst business decisions was, because I have a credit card from Navy Federal, and the first credit card I ever had, they gave me $24,000 on the credit card. So I'm like, I'm too young for this. Nah, this is my money. I don't know what y'all talking about. This mine. But I made a business decision where it was like I was gonna flip ticket sales. And I think it was one time Beyonce came and I bought a bunch of tickets thinking I was gonna resell them. Beyonce wasn't popping that day and nobody bought the ticket.
Hello, pause.
I still had the date.
Just the ticket sales. We was a little
well, they ain't buy the tickets. They did not buy the tickets, and to this day, I still have some of those tickets in that debt. Like, and so it's a slippery slope.
It is. It is. Neat good _30 said budgeting is very important. Somebody else said True Bill is a good one as well. But yeah, credit cards is a slippery slope. And I feel as though I don't know how well we're doing with it.
Unless you use them as like a debit card. And that's what I try to do with mine. Like
I tried that at first.
Like
oh, it's so-and-so's birthday. Let's flex a little bit. Oh, it's Christmas. Let me go all out for my peoples because that's the kind of heart I have. Yep. Money I got.
Yep.
Somebody really should take her credit card between November and actually all year.
Holidays.
Just all year.
Everybody don't need a credit card. It's the thing. Courtney said on Facebook, Courtney says it requires discipline that I have not acquired. You know, I mean, but that's a good thing to know about yourself. She said, self says no. Okay. Like it's a thing. Like it's so hard. But so I think this is something that we get into in our age group as well. The difference between a hustle, like hustling, and securing a bag. What y'all think? Do you think there is a difference between hustling and securing a bag? And what does that kind of journey look like?
Well, how do we? Sometimes I think to myself, what is securing the bag? Because I'm kind of in the stage where I'm like, securing the bag is the 9 to 5. You secured that's one bag you secured. I used to take clothes from the thrift store and resell them on different websites. I was getting a little piece of money. That's securing the bag. But it also was a side hustle. So I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. Can you get to the bag is the question. Like, can you make money off the side hustle? Can you make money and secure the bag? Is your hustle securing the bag?
Okay. So Daddy Danny said, I think you have to hustle to get a bag no matter the means. So do you think, or Justin, what do you think? Do you think there's a difference between hustling and securing a bag?
I mean, for me, you have to define them because they kind of go hand in hand. Like, just like from what Carlton was saying, they kind of go hand in hand. It just depends on what is the bag to you? You know, then I think that's, for me, like, is me, for my business, I'm hustling my business, but I'm going to secure the bag once I get this client that's on retainer and I know. But, like, I'm going to keep hustling because one bag isn't enough. Like, so I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest.
Okay. And I know the reason why I think about that, and it's partially what Carlton said about that 9 to 5 is that secure the bag. I feel like you should have like those solid means of income. You know what I mean? Like, when do we get to the point we're no longer hustling? You know what I mean? Where it's just they're working. And that goes back to the beginning of the 7 streams of income. Like, you're working. You feel me? Like it's all working together for the good.
Go ahead, preach that.
Finish the scripture and give us the reference. Go ahead.
That ain't in Genesis. I don't know it.
Oh my God.
Sorry, guys. It's a joke. It's a joke. Still in Genesis, but it's still a joke. But it's getting out of the mindset of, all right, I got to get up. I got to work 3, 4, 5 different jobs a day to secure the bag or, you know, whatever the case may be, compared to saying, all right, I don't necessarily need to buy and resell these clothes. Let me go to this instead. Because I know it was one point in time, and I think 22, 23 for me, where I had a 9 to 5 job. I worked at Finish Line and Sephora. So 9 to 5 job was 9 to 5. I was off on weekends. So I may have on the weekends went to Finish Line in the morning, and they glad that they were in the same what's it called? The same mall. But did a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You feel me? Off at 5 o'clock, slept, all that kind of good stuff. And then on the weekend, I worked, I don't know, 8 to 5 at Finish Line, had 30 minutes to then get to Sephora, from, 5:30 to 10. You feel me? And I was going. And I know then I went to the next job that I have, or I cut one job, I cut two jobs and was still working finish line. And then the new job that I had and was trying to get hours to secure the bag. And instead, it was my mom who was like, all right, why not work to be full time at this one place, because they pay more, because it's more coming back to you than you are putting out, because they give you stock, you have growth opportunity, that kind of stuff. Why don't you work to secure this one instead of trying to split your time at both places and driving to one place from another and stuff like that? So I was hustling, but I was like, all right, well, let me change my mindset to now secure the bag in a better way. Because I feel like our age group, we're forever trying to we're chasing the bag instead of securing the bag, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think
that bag can honestly come to us.
Yeah. I think it's important to get like stuff that you work for and stuff that's passive income too, because who wants to be stressed out all the time, going from job to job? Like, yeah, you gotta work hard, you gotta do whatever, but like, if you can have your stocks working for you, like that's not something you have to do every day. That's going to be, if you got your real estate, that's just kind of gonna be, as long as your people are paying your money. But then of course, you got your 9 to 5, you got your business if you are full time, whatever it is. But like, don't work that you don't enjoy the bag. Like that's the other thing too.
Yeah. And I think that's partially the difference between that hustle. So K_Limchin said, we have to go through the struggle to be able to get to the point we want. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. That
was profound.
Hello? That was deep. Kevin, you did that. Daddy Danny said that 2-job lifestyle is for the strong-hearted, and it is. Like, the level of tired, of exhaustion that I experienced working 3 jobs, like not even back to back, but working 3 jobs, that's a different level of exhaustion. Right. Like, it was weighing on me spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I tell you, I get home and I cry, and I was just like, I'm crying because the bagel took too long in the toaster, or I don't know, because my mom said hi to me and wanted conversation, and I had conversation at 3 different jobs. Like, it's that.
No, it's not. I remember that. I think when I first started working, everybody first job feel like it was McDonald's. I was working at McDonald's, and I think I got up to where, because at McDonald's you could switch to different locations, and so I got up to working at 4 different McDonald's at one time, and so it was every single day. There was not a day that I didn't work, and I wish I still had that same drive, because again, when you first start getting money, you're just like, I just want it all.
Let's go. Now I'm like,
I just want to sleep.
This.
Sleep. I just want to sleep.
I'm sleepy.
But nah, the drive is definitely different when you're younger. And so right now, like, I don't have the 2-job, thankfully, but like trying to build the business feels like a whole different job in itself.
Do it. We already know. Like, I already said it on the Facebook. We're gonna have to have a part 2 to this, because this is a topic that needs to be talked about, and that whole business part on its own is that's another thing. Like, when they talk about, with a business, you got to stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then go to your job. You're gonna have sleepless nights. I can't do that. Like, when I tell you, I've been at my 9 to 5 job, fell asleep talking to somebody, and thank God they wasn't looking at me. I can't do that. Your girl be thrown. I'm like a baby. You know when you don't give a baby a nap, how they act a fool? A fool. Like,
it's real. It's real.
Going back to, something you said, Carlton, about, when you're younger and you're able to just go. I know it's somebody that I know who I think works in a restaurant, bartending or whatever they do or whatever. And it was a conversation that I saw, and it was just about, or it was a conversation that I had with somebody about that. And it was just about, bartending or whatever, that's a hustle and stuff like that. But when you get to a certain point, is that the kind of hustle you want? You feel me? Like, even with retail, working the right hours to make it worth it. Or, yes, you are in, the restaurant business, in the retail business, making just as much as a salary person, but your hustle is completely different. And do you have stock that you're able to get from that company? Do you have a 401k that you're able to pour into? Do you have benefits that are good? Can you support a family? Like, can you grow from that? And I think that's not something we keep in mind in our right now life. You feel me? We're like, okay, this is good money, but is it good money? Like, I mean, yes, it's good money for right now, but thinking future, you feel me? How do you get for the future? I know people talk all the time about, degrees and if a degree can open doors or not, but like that's opening some doors for future. Like, that's the difference between if I go to the government, be coming in as a GS5 compared to no less than a GS13. Like, that's a big money. I mean, you can have God on your side, but that's the difference. Like, thinking future and stuff like that. Like, how do y'all think we think enough for the future?
No.
Because I know I be to myself thinking about stuff of a 35-year-old. And it's one of my friends, and I don't know if he's on live, but he had to call me on it. He was like, bruh, you're fine. You're good. Chill out. And I was like, you're right. But that push, that stress had me, that was the drive for the reason why I feel like I'm pretty good as a 26-year-old right now, because I thought about it. I stressed about it. But you need that balance of, all right, chill out, get it together, and then let's do it.
I personally think that I think women think harder like that than men. And so, like, because again, we a lot of the young boys that I talk to are just like, fast money, fast life. I'm gonna be 18 for like 18 years after the 18 years. Like, they think that that's it. And so, and that's even what I struggle with I just thought I had time, and time is going. All of a sudden now my knees are popping, and I found a gray hair from stress.
That's coming into 30, Carlton.
Man. Like, I'm talking about,
right.
I want to go back down some ages. And so it's like, I didn't think about it enough, and I feel as though I'm thinking about it late. And so with me thinking about it late, I'm on full grind mode. I'm looking up everything. I'm researching everything. I'm trying to get on my hustle. I'm trying to think light years ahead, even though I feel like I'm behind. And so I think more times than none, any men watching, like, if this is speaking to you, like, this is you saying, like, you need to get on your grind. Like, we don't have all that time that we think we have. And like, seeing that men are supposed to be looked at as providers and protectors. But what I really do see is us like more like moochers. Like, there's more of this thing where women are supposed to give it. Like,
say something. What you saying?
I ain't trying to speak too much, because then I have people in my DMs like, bro, what's wrong with you, bro? I thought you was for us, you against us. But nah, like, it's more so like men moving in. I know a couple people that they done moved in with their girlfriends, and it's like, why didn't you provide the house for her? Or why?
And this, I told you this, you two, we're gonna have you two back. But Carlton, I think definitely in relationship talks next month as well. But even with that, like, I know men, a lot of their drive is for women, right? So I know Justin and I have a conversation all the time about him providing for his wife. He was like, I need a bigger house. My wife can't fit. Sir, you don't have the wife yet. Like, provide for you. Like, this is good for you.
But you gotta be future minded. That's the thing. There
you go.
That's why I think about that.
Great. And that's why I said you two are great to have on this panel. Justin was thinking about this stuff at 22, whereas Carlton, you're talking about getting on your own lane, your own speed, but talking about it at 29. You feel me? And men are driven by women. You feel me? Like, they're like, all right, let me get this place so that she can move in, so that I can provide for her. But in actuality, when we're talking about living in singleness, you feel me? Providing for yourself. And I think that's one thing that women have that's a little bit different. You feel me? Like we're like, okay, let me get this degree so that can set me up with a good job so that I can buy my own house, that I can be able to support my family and do this for my family. Whereas men is like, well, I got all this time. I'm in my whole phase. Like what wife am I really getting ready for? It's a phase, 50. It's a phase. It's not the word. um, where you know what I mean? Like, and then the thought process is behind, and then after that, then you're like, oh well, let me hustle for this wife that I want to now provide for because she done shown herself wifely or whatever. When in actuality, y'all could have been providing for yourself. You need to be able to do it for yourself. You feel me? Like doing it
and
for
that's where it starts. That's where it starts.
and that's like I said, don't answer this question, but just dropping this out there, does that then shut your blessings down? Because you in grind mode trying to get ready for a wife. What if your wife came to you and you're like, oh no, I gotta hustle, I'm not ready, but you're not ready because you didn't think about the future, you didn't think about it going that far. Whereas a woman, she's like, okay, I have all this stuff set, I'm ready for a companionship, you know. Whereas men is like, I'm still on grind mode. I'm not set up yet. I'm not right yet because I don't want to be a moocher, because I don't want to live with you or whatever. Like that's a whole nother thing. And it's because we didn't think about the budgeting of it all. Justin's mindset of I need to get out. Like I don't have to get out, but I need to get out. I want to get out. You feel me? Like, and it's all about thinking about the money. Right. So, what is your best advice for anyone trying to budget and get ahead so that, like both Carlton and Justin, because you guys are mentors, what's something you would tell your young fellas, your young kings about budgeting and getting ahead so that they're not feeling like they're behind?
I think two things. One, how do I say this nicely?
Give it how you would give.
Don't let your most expensive asset be a depreciating asset. So basically, don't go out here buying cars because they lose value as soon as you drive it off the lot. It's like, don't make all your purchases stuff that is not going to hold its value. So clothes are the same way. Like, don't go out here buying the whole Ivy Park line, supporting Beyonce's whole life, because the second you wear it and you try to resell it, they're gonna be like, nah, it's tattered, nah, that's a little stain, nah, it's worn, it's used quality. Hey, but Ivy Park's unisex, right? So it's what the young kings do. So yeah, that would be a big thing. And then the other thing would be just know what's coming in and balance it versus what's going out. And I think that's all budgeting is. Budgeting is nothing more than addition and subtraction. Like what's coming in, subtract what's coming out. Make sure it's a positive number. And remember, 0 is not a positive number. All I'll say.
That's I mean, just to kind of comment on that, Justin, that's big because I think kind of something what Carlton said before. I'm like, I was in the club and I'm like, oh, if I got money in my account, or you chasing your Fridays when you get paid. You feel me? Like, and that's just like money going
pending accounts, the pending charges hit on Monday morning. You'd be like, oh,
like, wait a minute.
In my little life, that I done had that $1 from gas, and then $40, and I'm like, hey now.
But that's a huge one. Gas, and I know like we're not supposed to talk about this, but gas is like if you can pay it on debit. And I know they're like, there's security risks and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not a person that tracks your money well, pay it on debit or pay your gas in cash because that will trip you up. Like when I first started buying gas, I was like, ooh, I got a deal. I stole the gas. I only paid for $1. And then like 2 days later, my account was negative. Gosh, what did I do?
Yeah. So that's that spending money you don't have. And I think that's big what you said, Justin. Like that's one I wish I could pin on both Instagram and Facebook to say, know how much you got going out versus what you got coming in. We got a lot of vices. Like I know I got a lot of vices, but we as a generation have a lot of vices. The clothes, the drinking, the clubbing, the extracurricular activities. Like, I mean, if you think about it, like, I'm just so glad that that's not one of my vices, but I do have other vices. But just thinking about that as well, like, fives add up.
Yeah.
They add up. They add up. Carlton, what would you tell your young kings? What would you tell them so that they could get ahead?
So my thing is assess your goals. Like, what are those goals? And I think that's where you find the root to either a problem or the success or the solution. Like, assess the goals.
Yes.
Assess them goals. You're gonna find that in that. Because you'll hear some say, well, I want to be like NBA YoungBoy. I want to be like Gucci. Like, and so you'll find out, okay, well.
But did you even hear? Did you hear on the verses between Gucci and Jeezy? Where Gucci was like, this fit was like 10 bands. Jeezy was like, yeah, but I own half of Atlanta.
Right. So it showed a little thing of just a different mindset.
That was a hard flex.
Yeah. But again, you're assessing your goals.
Depreciating assets. That's what great example of that.
Yeah. Where do you want to be? Okay, if you want to be like Gucci and them, then like, why? What are you seeing? And then you'll come to find out, oh, it's just the jewelry, it's just the social media flex. But then, like, that can't sustain itself. Like, what you don't see is the fact that they're getting paid millions of dollars in advance from the label to look like this and look like that. But not really, what is your goal? Like, what do you want long term?
They're not advocates. What's it called? Brand ambassadors as well.
Right.
All that you see on some of the VMAs, they're borrowing that. Like, borrowing that so that we, the actual consumers, can get that. Even, like I said, back in my business, even Beyonce sending everybody the box was so we can do that. Like, Monique came up for the big girls. Shorty hit that hard. And now the regular consumers, because that's one thing we talked about on Twitter in hashtag Ivy Park Adidas, was you done gave all the rich people stuff. We couldn't get none, but she did that, the marketing of it.
Yeah.
Sold out in minutes.
Exactly.
Minutes.
They get that stuff for free, and then everybody else ends up paying that high price ticket. Matter of fact, I think I was so disappointed. But it's a smart thing when I found out that rappers were renting like Bugattis and Lamborghinis, and weren't actually buying them. But when it comes to us, we will purchase a whole $250,000 car once we get on that level to say we have it. When you could, if you wanted to ride nicely for a couple days, pay that stack and just rent the car. Like, it's a facade. So make sure you assess the goals. Where do you want to be? What are your real things? Once you find that out, if it's not lining up, man, change that mindset, because that mindset drives reality.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna plug it in there.
Say it one more time.
Mindset drives reality. I'm
a little bit louder.
Too.
A little bit louder.
Mindset drives reality. That mindset, your mindset can be stuck in a place where it can drive you to the wrong place. So don't just think like it literally. It's the same way as the whole new thing of manifestation. Like, you are what you think. You will be what you think.
Yeah.
And so just simple as that. Use that mindset. Use it in the right way, because everything that you think about can come true if you put enough work into it.
Listen, I feel as though that's the best place that we're gonna end this, because we gotta have a part 2. Like, Instagram, Facebook, I need y'all to know this is going to be a part 2 conversation, because these guys right here, Justin just be in the business, Carlton giving freaking hashtags and words of wisdom to leave with, like, dropping it, and this is free right now. Like, he ain't always gonna be free, okay? Because
I'm not. Hey, speak that, man.
I'm speaking life into my panelists, into my friends, into my viewers, and things of that nature. That's what you're gonna get from LadyyT. Let's talk about it. Is that support? You feel me? You guys are supporting me, so I'm gonna support you. And Carlton, I know people about to be paying for that knowledge that you get and how you're giving that knowledge. You feel me? Justin, you are going to be that producer that you entitled yourself to be. And everybody who has been commenting and watching and indulging in this conversation with us, this is the first step to that financial literacy. This is the first step to you, like, everybody in everything needs to have that one thing that is like, all right, that's the switch. Whether it's injustice, relationships, money managing, this may be that one thing that you guys see and you're like, all right, that person just lined up with the things that I've been thinking. That person just lined up with this person, and now I needed to get it together. You know what I mean? So I'm supporting you guys. I'm here for it. We gonna get our money. We gonna secure the bag. Okay. Lessen the hustles sometimes, but secure the bag. So, like I said, we're wrapping up, and I wanted to thank everybody for commenting. I think the Lockharts for their relationship comments. Savannah, you're popping. Courtney and Self, thank you for joining. Tristan, thank you for staying awake for this. You're the best fan I've ever had. For Instagram, I thank you guys for commenting. Listen, we in there. Okay, this is the first time I've been able to see you guys' comments, interact with you guys as well. We're talking about managing money as millennials. We're talking about budgeting and traveling and thinking farther than tomorrow. You feel me? Because faith without works is dead. Okay, we got to put that work in. Okay. So I also want to thank my panelists, Justin of the JR Group, Carlton, Get Your Money, like video editor. Go follow these guys. How can the people follow you? How can they stay up to date with the things that you're doing?
You can follow me at Carlton __ Hunter. I'm plugging Get Your Money Man on YouTube. You can follow that. Just type in Carlton Hunter on YouTube. Touch Productions as well. You can go to the Touch Productions if you need anything as far as photography, videography, motion graphics, animation. If you need things for your podcast, hit us up. We are doing it all. We are 2 years in the game. Where
they follow that page at?
Touch __ Productions at Instagram. We got a website coming. Also, you can follow us at Touch Productions on Facebook. As well, let me make sure I got everything. Yeah, and that's good. And we making it do what it do.
Okay. Listen, your network is your net worth. Okay, we putting everybody on. I'm putting everybody on. Justin, my guy. They see you all the time. Okay, but I don't feel like you loud enough. Tell them where they can follow you. How can they follow you? How can they keep up with all of the great things you're doing?
You can follow me on Facebook, Justin Reeves. You can follow me on Instagram at _Justin Reeves _.
Okay.
Tune in. Oh, shameless plug. Tune in this coming Saturday. I'm doing a virtual pop-up shop for small businesses, minority businesses. So you can find out where your holiday gifts are and your different stuff. And then the Saturday after that, December 5th, doing Carols for a Cause. So come out virtually, of course, on Facebook Live, get a night of Christmas music, and
super excited, guys. Super excited.
LadyT will be hosting, so it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
and I saw the proofs of our shirts; they are fire. So I'm excited.
Yes. So, as Justin said, this coming Saturday, he is doing a pop-up shop where you can find all of the products that you may need from minorities, so that you can listen. Shop smarter for Christmas. Everybody's doing stuff virtual. Everybody's sending stuff out. This Saturday, definitely tune into his pop-up shop. And then the next Saturday after that, Carols for a Cause, hosted by your very own. Okay, we gonna have fun. Shorty getting a retwist. I'm about to be in my well, I don't know. I have to talk about that with Justin, but I'm about to be in my holiday onesie. You feel me? And then I'm giving you guys looks. Like, I'm giving looks. LadyT, if nothing else, I'm good for the funny, the energy, and the looks, okay? That's all that Ivy Park I be buying. I be buying other stuff too, okay? Because you just never know. So, I thank you guys for all of the stuff that you gave to the people. I thank you for the conversation. To my viewers, I thank you guys. I could not be where I am without you, okay? I thank you for your feedback after the fact as well. That's all needed. and we're growing and glowing together. So we're talking about budgeting, money, all that good stuff. I'm LadyT. Catch me in the next 2 weeks for our next talk. Okay, that one, we going back into relationships, okay? The heart of it all. So I thank you guys. I'm LadyT. Let's talk about it.